You can still buy a house in America for less than a used couch. Not a teardown, not a Craigslist trap. Real keys, real deed, and a price tag that'll make your realtor cry. Today we're counting down 10 U.S. towns where home prices are so low, you'll think it's a scam. We're talking legit listings under $100 K, some under $25 K, in places with actual grocery stores, neighbors, and a pulse. But here's the twist no one tells you. Every bargain has a catch. One city's got a world-class park and a crime map you'll study like finals week. Another's a border town that's safer than you've heard, but your AC will work overtime. And there's a Midwest stunner where the house is cheap, but the potholes want your suspension. By the end, you'll know exactly which deal is a smart play and which one is a money pit with great marketing. Quick gut check. Are you cool with a longer commute for a smaller mortgage? Could you trade nightlife for a backyard and equity? Keep those answers handy. All right, grab a coffee, lock in, and let's start at Hasona Zero, where the listing price looks fake and the fine print gets very real. Number 10, Springfield, Illinois. Springfield, Illinois, the capital city where Abraham Lincoln once walked the streets and where today you can snag a house for around $108,000. That's less than the down payment in most U.S. metros. Rent averages under $850, and the cost of living is about 20% below national average. On paper, it's a steal. But here's the fine print. Springfield is affordable, historic, and full of small-town charm. Yet it also ranks as one of the most dangerous cities in Illinois. Yep, even competing with Chicago. Violent crime runs nearly double the national average, so you get budget-friendly mortgages and a neighborhood where Lincoln's legacy looms large, but you'll also want a home security system in that budget. Still, life here has its perks. Government jobs, healthcare, and education dominate the economy, which means stability, if not excitement. Festivals, Lincoln tourism, and barbecue culture keep things lively, and the housing stock is full of charming older homes. Picture this. You're sipping coffee on a porch swing, waving at your neighbor in February shorts, when fireworks crack off in the distance again. Springfield is cheap, chaotic, and oddly lovable. The question is, could you live with both the history and the headaches? Number 9, Enid, Oklahoma. Enid, Oklahoma, where houses are so cheap it feels like you've stepped back in time. The median home price hovers around $128,000, rent averages about $750 for a two-bedroom, and the cost of living is 17% below the national average. On the surface, it looks like a dream: big skies, golden wheat fields, and a mortgage payment smaller than your monthly grocery bill. But here's the catch. Enid is quiet, too quiet. Unless you're working in aviation, agriculture, or government, good luck finding steady work. The job market is limited, and the unemployment rate usually sits above national averages. Entertainment? Think Friday night football games and Walmart runs, not buzzing nightlife. That said, it's safe, commutes are short, and you'll never deal with traffic jams unless you count tumbleweeds crossing Main Street. Locals joke that living in Enid is like being in a country song. Sweet, slow, and a little lonely. The weather's another wild card. Brutal windstorms that steal your trash cans, summers that melt your shoes, and winters that'll freeze them back solid. Picture this. You step outside to rippling wheat fields, a rooster crowing, and neighbors who know your name and your business. Enid is peaceful, affordable, and quirky. But is it lively enough to keep you around? Number 8, Mission, Texas. Welcome to Mission, Texas, a sun-soaked border town where you can still grab a house for under $100,000. The median home price sits around $98 K, rent for a two-bedroom averages $750, and the cost of living is about 24% below the national average. In a world of $500,000 mortgages, Mission looks like a cheat code. But the fine print? Heat. Endless, brutal heat. Mission averages nearly 200 days of sunshine a year, with triple-digit summers that can fry your steering wheel. Locals joke that your air conditioner becomes part of the family and your biggest monthly bill. Job options lean on agriculture, healthcare, and retail. Salaries hover near $50K, which works here as long as you don't expect Silicon Valley paychecks. Crime stats look scary on paper thanks to border headlines, but locals insist it's safer than people think. The real enemy? Mosquitoes the size of hummingbirds. Still, there's charm everywhere. Mariachi music drifting from backyards, taco trucks on every corner, sunsets that paint the sky gold. It's slow-paced, affordable, and full of flavor. So the trade-off is clear. Would you sweat through summers if it meant never paying over $100K for a house again? Number 7. McAllen, Texas. McAllen, Texas, the border city where your mortgage costs less than brunch in Los Angeles. The median home price is about $98,000, rent for a two-bedroom averages $850, and the cost of living is roughly 22% below the national average. For many, that's a dream. Palm trees, tacos, and real estate that doesn't chain you to debt for life. But here's the twist. McAllen is affordable, yes, but it's also hot, humid, and slow. Summers melt you by noon, and if you don't own a dehumidifier, you'll just be drinking the air. The nightlife is mellow, and some locals say the vibe is almost too peaceful, like a Hallmark movie on repeat. Still, McAllen offers things most border cities don't: relatively low crime, strong healthcare infrastructure, and a growing population. The economy is stable-ish, with jobs in education, retail, and medical care keeping things afloat. And yes, they have Target, so calm down. Picture this. It's 5 p.m., the tamale truck honks down your street, the sun dips low, and you're rocking in a front porch chair of a house you already own free and clear. McAllen is affordable, friendly, and oddly wholesome. The only question is, would you trade big city energy for small-town savings? Number 6, Bay City, Michigan. Bay City, Michigan, a Great Lakes town where you can buy a house for under $95,000. Rent averages $700, $800, and the cost of living is about 24% below the national average. Add riverfront views, summer festivals, and a surprisingly charming downtown, and Bay City starts to look like a bargain hiding in plain sight. But here's the fine print. Crime is spicier than you'd expect. Bay City ranks safer than only about 17% of U.S. cities, meaning you'll want to lock your bike and maybe your mailbox too. The job market is modest. Healthcare, schools, and manufacturing dominate, so remote workers thrive here more than career climbers. Still, Bay City has perks. You're on the water, there's a fun brewery scene, and Michigan summers mean boats, barbecue, and festivals with polka music drifting through downtown. Winters? Brutal. Snow in April, thunderstorms in January, and potholes big enough to swallow a Subaru. Picture this: lake air in your lungs, a seagull judging you from a lamppost, and neighbors grilling pasties while music drifts from the beer fest. Bay City is quirky, affordable, and oddly charming, but only if you can survive the weather and the roads. Number 5, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yes, that's Scranton, the one made famous by The Office and Joe Biden's speeches. But here's the real headline. The median home price is under $110,000, rent averages about $800, and the cost of living is nearly 20% below national average. That means you can actually own a home here for less than what most people pay in annual rent. So what's the catch? Scranton's economy hit the brakes decades ago, and while it's slowly reinventing itself, progress feels like molasses. Job opportunities are mostly in healthcare, logistics, and education. Crime is average, not great, not terrifying, but the roads? They look like they were paved during an earthquake. Still, Scranton has grit. Locals are friendly, diners are everywhere, and the housing stock is full of century-old brick homes that feel like bargains. You'll get 4 full seasons, sometimes in the same week, and just enough quirks to keep life interesting. Picture this: Saturday morning in a vintage row house, coffee brewing, bacon sizzling, kids biking past an old coal memorial. Your mortgage? Smaller than your phone bill. Scranton isn't glamorous, but it's real, affordable, and stubbornly alive. So, would you live where sitcom fame meets budget living? Number 4, Rochester, New York. Rochester, New York, once home to Kodak, Xerox, and Bausch and Lomb, now better known for snowdrifts and shockingly cheap housing. The median home price sits around $107,000, rent averages about $900, and the cost of living is 25% below the national average. For a city of over 200,000 people with universities, hospitals, and culture, that's almost unbelievable. But here's the twist: winter. Rochester gets over 100 inches of snow a year, plus weeks of gray skies that test even the strongest moods. Locals joke you need 3 essentials to survive: boots, salt, and a therapy lamp. Crime is another trade-off. Violent crime is about twice the national average in some neighborhoods. Still, Rochester has hidden strengths. A surprisingly good food scene, top-tier colleges like the University of Rochester and RIT, and an arts community that thrives despite the cold. Downtown is a mix of trendy breweries, live jazz, and boarded-up laundromats, a gamble block by block. Picture this: a $100 K Victorian with a porch, lake-effect snow swirling outside, jazz from a street musician echoing off a used bookstore wall. It's gritty, it's charming, and it's affordable if you can handle the endless winter. Number 3, Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio, the Glass City, where the median home price hovers around $115,000, rent sits between $750, $850, and the cost of living is a full 22% below national average. On paper, it's the kind of place where you can own a house for less than a year's rent in a big city. But here's the trade-off. Toledo is affordable, yes, but it's also uneven. Some neighborhoods are thriving with new shops, breweries, and families moving in. Others? You'll want to keep the car running while you check the mail. Violent crime is about twice the national average, and property crime is just as common. Still, Toledo packs in surprises. The Toledo Zoo is world-class. The food scene leans hard on Polish bakeries, chili, and craft beer. Neighbors shovel each other's driveways and share recipes after. But the weather? Brutal. Snowstorms, floods, and humid summers that feel like soup. Picture this. You're sipping coffee on the porch of your fully paid-off $90 K house. Down the street, someone's starting a snowblower, while the bakery fills the air with fresh bread. Toledo is stubborn, cheap, and surprisingly livable if you're ready for grit with your bargain. Number 2, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri, a major U.S. city where the median home price is only around $110,000. That's right, a city with a skyline, pro sports, and real culture, where a house can cost less than a new Tesla. Rent averages about $925, and the cost of living is 18% below national average. So why isn't everyone rushing in? Crime. Some neighborhoods feel like Brooklyn with $3 craft beer, while others feel like a post-apocalyptic video game. In certain zip codes, violent crime is more than 4 times the national average. The risk divided by reward math here is real. Buy in the wrong block, and your cheap mortgage comes with sirens. But if you pick carefully, St. Louis can be a steal. The food scene is underrated: toasted ravioli, barbecue, and $3 beers on historic porches. There's a thriving arts culture, historic brick homes from the 1,800 seconds, and plenty of affordable property just waiting for someone bold enough to claim it. Picture this: Cardinals baseball on a neighbor's radio, cicadas buzzing at sunset, and a house you bought for the price of a down payment elsewhere. St. Louis is cheap, vibrant, and risky, a gamble that pays off if you play it smart. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City, where you can still buy a house for less than the price of a used car. The median home price hovers around $66,000, rent averages under $1,000, and the cost of living is nearly 30% below the national average. On paper, it's the ultimate bargain in a major American city. But the fine print? Detroit is the definition of extremes. Some neighborhoods look like a gritty Netflix reboot: boarded-up homes, potholes the size of hot tubs, and one of the highest violent crime rates in the country. Yet just a few blocks away, you'll find trendy lofts, startup offices, and coffee shops with names like clutch and grind. The city's in the middle of a slow, messy comeback. Billions are being invested downtown, new jobs are coming in tech and mobility, and murals cover entire city blocks. Locals call it tough love. Detroit will break your heart one week and inspire you the next. Picture this: a $5,000 fixer-upper, Motown on the radio, tomatoes growing in your backyard, and a neighbor who actually waves hello. Detroit is risky, raw, and wildly affordable, but if you're bold, it's a chance to own a piece of a city that refuses to quit. So there you have it, 10 towns where home prices are so low, they feel like a glitch in the system. From snowy bargains to sun-baked steals, each one proves the same thing: cheap living always comes with trade-offs. Some offer peace and quiet, others bring grit and chaos. But all of them ask the same question: how much are you willing to trade for affordability? Now I want to hear from you. If you could pick one of these towns to live in, which would it be and why? Drop your answer in the comments, because the real debate starts down there. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button so more people see it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the places most people overlook. Affordable homes are out there. The only question is, would you actually move?